All right, folks, it is Wednesday, August 28, 2024, and we're going to be watching this market closely here today. We have Ripple moving over 200 million XRP. We have the SEC launching the next phase of Operation Choke Point, and then we have the NVIDIA earnings coming at the end of today after the markets close. So we're going to be having a full update for you guys here today. I want to get directly into it. I appreciate everybody for stopping by, and as always, all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Let's get started off here with the current events taking place here in the United States. California had to up Oregon. Oregon just did what? 25,000 down payment assistance for undocumented migrants. Well, California's taking it to 150,000 down payment assistance for the undocumented. You guys let me know what you think about this California Dream for All loan program. And I'm laughing here because what's 150,000 going to do for you in California? Get you a shack underneath one of the bridges? I mean, seriously, it's an absolute joke. And they call it the California Dream for All, but it's not for all California citizens. It's only for a select chosen few. And of course, this is on the back of Biden wanting to do $10,000 down payment assistance. Kamala took it up to $25,000. Oregon just came out and said 25,000 for undocumented, and now California's taking it to 150. So I mean, this is like the Oprah Winfrey show this election cycle. Everybody's just throwing money out, and you can tell it's an election season because we have Gavin Newsom underneath the bridges in California picking up homeless camps, and we got Kamala Harris, which now is in favor of building the wall. Okay, you guys let me know how you feel as an American to see 150,000 down payment assistance for that program. Okay, let's continue on. We got the Bank of Montreal warning of credit pressures. Their stock's down 16% year to date, reporting 6 consecutive profit miss. Shares dropping 6% today, and a loan loss provision surged to 906 million Canadian funny money dollars in Q3, exceeding expectations. Credit concerns, aka a Minsky moment top concern. And so we're seeing pressures here, not just in the banks within the United States, which have over $500 billion of unrealized losses on their bonds, but we also see it up there in Canada as well, Bank of Montreal in this situation. But then when we hone in here on Bank of America, we know that their bond portfolio has $100 billion of unrealized losses there, which may be one of the reasons why Warren, the Oracle of Omaha Buffett, sold another nearly $1 billion worth of shares, and he's now in a position of $278 billion in cash and selling stocks like never before, including Apple. I think he's getting ready for something. You guys let me know what you think about that. And I wanted to show you guys, this is kind of hilarious. This is the Berkshire Hathaway website right here. Something that looks like it's straight out of the 90s with just bullet point links on the website. And this is shared here by the Kobesi letter. You can't make this up. Berkshire Hathaway just hit $1 trillion in market cap, and this is a screenshot of their website. The company has bullet points with links attached to them on a single page website. The best part, a disclaimer at the bottom of their website says, if you have any comments about our webpage, you can write us at the address shown above. It also says, however, due to the limited number of personnel in our corporate office, we are unable to provide any direct response. So it just goes to show you, the reason why I'm showing this is you can achieve $1 trillion market cap, have a war chest of $278 billion cash that Warren has, and you can still operate with a website that's literally drawn up from the 90s probably. I mean, it's pretty hilarious, but it goes to show you that if you're bringing real value to the marketplace, or in this case to your shareholders, you will do just fine, even with that old tacky website from the 90s. So keep on building that, and do not let all the fancy marketing, all this and that. As someone who's in marketing and someone who's in content creation, I put a lot of effort into my content. You don't necessarily need it to have a successful business. And I'll just say, I think a lot of people get caught up in their business and, oh, I got to have a Facebook page, I got to have a website, I got to have an Instagram, I got to be on Twitter, I got to make a YouTube channel, I got to make a podcast, instead of just focus on getting your first client that'll actually buy your product or service. More on that in our business development program that we share. We share that content with our Discord group. And so if you're looking to get tapped in over there, that's at zachrector.com. Let's continue. And so now we take a look at what China has been doing with their gold imports via Hong Kong, rising by about 17% in July compared to June. So China playing chess while we're playing checkers or doing something silly over here in the West, completely asleep at the wheel, while they have been accumulating record amounts of the precious metals. You still are not seeing the retail investment over here in the West. And when that does pick up, I think that we still have plenty of room to run for both gold and silver. And if you guys are looking to pick up the precious metals, you know that's one of the community resources that we have available at my website, zachrector.com. Now let's talk SEC and crypto. SEC approves new rule requiring mutual funds and ETFs to report portfolio holdings on a monthly basis rather than 4 times a year. Now this is a step in the right direction, but I would argue that with our new technology capabilities, there's no reason why we couldn't be reporting the holdings at the end of each trading day, right? It's like they've updated the payment rails to now settling in 1 day, and they act like that's an achievement. But why not take it to 3 to 5 seconds with the XRP ledger or your other favorite DLT solution, right? But in this case, okay, we're moving to monthly basis reporting. Why not move to every single day? It's a step in the right direction, though. Now, a step in the completely wrong direction is what we got here in today's news, that OpenSea has just received a Wells notice from the SEC threatening to sue us because they believe that NFTs on our platform are securities. We're shocked that the SEC would make such a sweeping move against creators and artists, but we're ready to stand up and fight. And they say that cryptocurrencies have long been in the crosshairs of the SEC, with companies like Coinbase, Uniswap, Robinhood, Kraken, and Consensus fighting against the SEC's single-track approach of regulation by enforcement. Now, I got to stop the co-founder and CEO of OpenSea, Devin Finzer, right there, and note, why did you leave out Ripple? Why does our industry continue to leave out Ripple in the XRP community, which has fought and won against the SEC? You bring up Coinbase and everybody else, Consensus, which Consensus hasn't won anything. They got that note in the pocket. Joseph Lubin had that note in the pocket. Now he's finding out that that was the free pass fake out as they're now in their battle with the SEC. So how'd that program work out for you guys? And how has it worked out not giving credit where it's due to Ripple and XRP? You guys trying to say that that precedent applies to your cryptos, which did ICOs, which did early investment launch pads, which disguised the whales. And you guys think that you're going to be able to take the precedent from our case and our victory and apply it to your crap token or whatever scheme you guys are offering and think that there's going to be a precedent there to be had. There's not for your ICO. There's not for your disguised whales. There's not for your early investment launchpad in accordance with influencers shilling crap to the masses, which is what the rest of the space has been, including the NFTs on your platform. Now, are the NFTs in and of themselves securities? No, we don't believe that they are. But are the schemes that you guys devised to sell these NFTs, are those investment contracts? They very well could be. And it just ticks me off that we are still not getting credit. Ripple's not getting credit. The XRP's community is not getting credit when we deserve, when we've been one of the few companies to actually win against the SEC. But no, don't mention us. Don't mention us over here. Let's give credit to Consensus. What have they achieved? Besides a free pass fake out, which really fooled most of the industry, and as a matter of fact, what's Jesse Hines have to say? So this may actually shock people, but I actually am not a fan of OpenSea receiving a Wells notice, and here's why. First, yes, I still hold true to the stance that many NFTs, nodes, and crypto tokens were sold in securities offerings. I do not believe that, however, that makes them inherently securities, and I do not believe that OpenSea should bear the obligation of determining what is a security and what isn't. The SEC should be going after these projects one by one, rather than doing what I believe they are doing, which is filing a lawsuit where they sue OpenSea and then will backdoor argue a bunch of NFTs are securities without actually litigating. While I argue that the laws are clear enough for people to know what was sold as a security, but I do not believe there is enough clarity for a platform like OpenSea to make that distinction on an individual basis. Why does this make sense for the SEC? It's their easiest way to do a many-for-one lawsuit claiming a bulk amount of NFTs are securities. Don't be surprised when your favorite project is named. And it's easier to connect and control all of crypto if you control the endpoints where users transact, which is exactly why they've sued the exchanges. Instead of going after Solana and Cardano and all these other different companies like they did with Ripple, they just so happened to choose Ripple. I wonder why they did that. But in regards to everybody else, they're going after the endpoint for the users, which in this case is the OpenSea platform, the largest NFT platform that we have. And they're going after the exchanges saying, hey, these 16 tokens that you offered are investment contracts. And I guess we can give credit to the government for actually being efficient in this regard. Instead of having 16 different lawsuits, the SEC just gets to deploy their resources to one lawsuit. So I guess, for once, the government's actually being efficient. What a crazy idea, right? So we'll continue to watch and see how this goes. But, if you're wondering why I don't feel any sympathy for these projects, it's because they don't give us credit where it's due. And the facts and circumstances around their, offerings and sales of these NFTs and of these tokens are much different from the XRP facts and circumstances. So good luck. God bless. Not a fan of the SEC, not a fan of Operation Choke Point, not a fan of Elizabeth Warren being the puppet master of Gary Gensler, but that's where we're at. And boy, does it feel good to be in full clarity over here in the XRP ecosystem. Hope it works out for you guys. Now, speaking of Elizabeth Warren being the puppet master of Gary Gensler, this is Paul Barron with Perry-Ann Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce. And we got rumors here that Kamala Harris was considering Gensler as Secretary of Treasury. And apparently this was planted by Elizabeth, I got a plan for Gary Gensler, Warren. Take a listen in here, folks.
I've heard a lot of different things. So according to my sources inside the SEC, he's toying with the idea of stepping down from the chairmanship role into a commissioner role. And we're hearing he is entertaining that because he may not be able to get a job anywhere else because he's that unpopular.
I would also add he might be considering stepping down, as I've mentioned, because we know that President Trump is going to come in and fire his butt. And so he might want to get out of the way before he gets got for what he did and what he's been up to. His legacy will be known as Operation Choke Point and the attacks against crypto. After we thought he was going to be great for the industry coming in, being a professor at MIT for this technology, but he did the complete opposite, acting as a puppet of Elizabeth Warren. And so as I've mentioned, I think he might be bowing out, and there's a chance that he might step down before Trump gets in office because he knows he's going to be fired, and he knows that Trump, every time Gary Gensler is brought up, Trump mentions that he was the CFO of the criminal campaign conspiracy. So that might be another reason why he's considering stepping down. Let's let her finish.
There was this rumor floating around on the internet recently that Kamala Harris was considering nominating him to Treasury Secretary. Right. So we're hearing that actually was planted by Elizabeth Warren, who actually is the number one nemesis. I think she's number one. Gary Gensler is more so just operating at her direction.
Where does one begin and the other end, though?
So, and we're hearing the reason why she did that is because they're then planning to do some polling on how did that announcement impact her base.
Who do you think would be a candidate for the chair position if Gensler were to step aside?
I actually have information on this that I'm not at liberty to
Come on,
share.
Marianne.
So she can't share who the next SEC chair might be, but very interesting to hear that this might have been planted by Elizabeth Warren. And we know that Camp Warren is in full panic over John Deaton, but they're also worried and concerned because the people who cut her checks, the banksters and the big lobbyists, right? Their business is under threat from this cryptocurrency technology space, which is why they have launched such a strong attack against our space, leaving us in the dark without clarity. And this is where we find ourselves here in the United States of America, is we have an SEC chair who's a complete puppet to a bought out politician in Elizabeth Warren, who's been serving for over a decade and has achieved nothing besides laying out her talking points, which have been ridiculous. And here we are now, it's being thrown around, these little deals. And once again, I believe that they are in full panic. And this is why Elizabeth Warren is doing stuff like this. I think this is why Gary Gensler is, considering stepping down out of the chairmanship. I mean, which must kill him. You know his ego. This is just going to eat him up inside to actually step down and give up power. But he may be having to do so because he knows what's coming. Now, I wish I knew what was coming as far as why Ripple just moved this $200 million worth of XRP, 200 million XRP worth $118 million. but I do not. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Some folks speculating that this is Ripple getting ready to pay that fine, but as we heard from Stuart Alderati, Ripple has cash on their balance sheet ready to go to pay this fine without having to sell XRP. So you guys let me know. We've seen some of these transactions as of late where Ripple's moving big amounts outside of that first of the month window where they get the escrow, they get $1 billion released from the escrow. They usually put about 700 million back in the escrow, and then they deploy about 200 to 300 million into on-demand liquidity. And so I don't know what this is about, but it's something to note. This happened yesterday, 200 million XRP on the move from Ripple. Very interesting to watch. And as I covered in yesterday's episode, XRP, although it did come back down and test these levels down here at 55 cents, XRP still in a very strong position. Chart still looking good. You guys let me know what you think about this move here. 200 million XRP on the move. XRP at 57 cents right now. We got another update that's going to be dropping later today. Whole market's on the edge of their seats waiting for the NVIDIA earnings call. And so I'm going to be following up with another update later today. Make sure you guys have subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss that one. If you appreciated this update, please make sure you like this video. Help me out by sharing it out far and wide. And if you're looking to get in touch with me, schedule a one-on-one session, or get tapped in with our community, it's all at zachrector.com. I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.